I always think, guys, like the best thing to do is discuss our daily business. So even for you guys that are trying to, pass the exam and get your license, eventually at the end of the day, we want to all find deals, we want to close deals, we want to work and be busy. So usually when we have time to chit chat, I always try to talk about it's kind of like the same subject, but I try to come at it in a different angle. Maybe we can all, including myself, pick up something from it. I think last time we were talking about why we should tell our buyers that even now this is the buyer's market. And simply put, if the rates are up, which is the rates up, rates are going to go down. So the prices will go even higher. So I know we have a lot of people saying, prices are bad, this and that. I agree, but it's just going to go higher. When the rates go down, it's just going to, because there'll be more demand. So we talked about that last time. I think today, this might be, our discussion today might be more directed towards new agents, ones that don't have that many deals. And I think it could motivate you guys to be realistic about our career, about the field and the market we're in. Some of our veterans, like Zarajan, this could also, for myself, even could just be kind of like a reminder. So before I start, anyone wants to share any experience from any activity with clients, buyers, sellers, anything you guys want to share? Um, so I'll tell you guys this for what I want to share. I've been busy. I myself and Ani have been showing houses. I feel like our offers are getting accepted a lot more easier than COVID era, obviously. Still, there's multiple offers and stuff, but I feel like it's easier. Zara has an offer out for one of his buyers. I think it's going to get accepted. So it is still not a walk in the park. I don't believe you're going to be able to get a discount on good properties or say, hey, you know, inspection is 10,000, credit me 5. I don't think that's doable, maybe practically speaking, for better properties, but I don't think the fight is as heavy as it used to be. Um, so that's kind of my little feedback. I'm trying to be active myself. I'm trying to show houses myself. Ani and I tag team, so I'm trying to work as much as I can when I'm in town. So I titled today's discussion "Keys or Donuts," and I'll talk about that in a second. So simply put, if you're trying to represent a buyer, what's the end result? The end result, you're getting them which one? Which one are you getting at the end for the buyer? Can Louisa, if you're representing the buyer, are you getting them keys or donuts at the end of the process? Just choose one. You can't say both. Keys. Right. Thank you. Great job. Thank you. So if you have a buyer, what's our goal for them? To get the key. They're getting a new house. Let's get the key. So let's just go with that one for a second. I want to talk about this a little bit. So a lot of new agents come to me, a lot of people that are thinking about real estate come to me, and they're like, you know what, there's so many agents out there. There's a ton of agents on Zillow. People nowadays can go to Zillow, go to Redfin, look up houses themselves and contact the Zillow agent, contact the Redfin agent, and just go that route. So what I say is it is easy nowadays with the internet process, with all of our younger generation being so savvy with internet and social media, it is very easy to find a property. Again, it is very easy to find a property, but it's another story to get the key for the property. So getting the key for a property versus finding it are two different rooms, okay? So we want to have that mentality that you bring value to the table when you build a relationship with your clients. And that's what's going to help them get the key. Not just any key, a key for a good house, a key for a house they can afford. Versus if a client chooses to say, you know what, I'm not going to work with, I'm not going to have a personal agent. I'll just go to open houses myself. And whoever agent is at the house, I'll just go with them. Well, they don't know you. They don't know your interest. They don't know what it's all about. They're just going to pretty much they're going to do things from a perspective of 5 minutes of getting to know you. So it's just going to be numbers. Or if they just contact Zillow and have Zillow make an appointment for them, there is no personal relationship. There is no context. There is no it's a lot different. So what we need to do as agents tell, you know, other people that are becoming agents, or tell your clients when you meet, hey, I am going to help you get the key. I understand finding a property is easy. You don't even need my auto emails, but the auto email just simplifies things for you. But I'm going to help you get the key by when you send me the property, I do my homework, we'll talk about it, we go see it together. I know what you're looking for. You're a first time buyer. You might want to do an ADU. You kind of have a history about them, right? So to sum it up, what I'm trying to tell you guys is, you know, even your clients, now that we just discussed, getting the key for our buyers is a whole different story than just finding a home for our buyers. And a lot of, now moving a step forward, a lot of us as agents, when we have a buyer, we get stuck in just finding a home after home after home. And it's just like Gevik right now. Ani, Ani, how long are you showing houses to Gevik? 1 year, right? 1 year we're showing houses to this gentleman. 1 year. So it's basically we're finding home after home after home after home after home after home. No key, just home after home after home after home. So basically, another thing that's important is sometimes, even with Gevik, there was at least 5 properties that was really a jackpot for him. If he would have got it 8 months ago, he would have had 50, 70,000 equity in it right now. But he didn't go for it. So sometimes finding a home needs to be pushed to telling them, hey, you need to put an offer on this. You need to go above asking price. You need to get engaged in this competition. You have a good chance. We need to take action on our behalf to change the finding the home, transform it into getting a key. And you have to be involved, guys. So what I'm telling you is, just because you have now like your sister that wants to buy a house, that's just the start. Then you're gonna find them a home. But finding them a home to getting the key, that's where your skills are gonna come into play. How many clients you have that you're finding them a home? One of them is going in a year, but she's not in this country. I understand. But my point is, guys, you gotta start building a solid relationship with them so you could push them. You could take them from finding homes into getting the key. So there is a big difference when people come to you and say, you know, I just go to Zillow, or they just come, like you, like let's say you go to a friend. So I ended with this example, then we go to donuts. You go to your friend and you go, hey, I'm an agent. I can help you like buy a house. And they'll turn around and tell you, I don't need help. I just go to Zillow. My wife and I are just looking on Zillow, and we just go like X, Y, and Z. That's where you could tell them, listen, I understand you could find a home, but I can really help you get the key for the right home. I can help you get the key. It's one thing to find homes. It's not easy to get the key. Good houses, and they're going to say why. Here's why. Good houses have multiple offers. So if you want to get a good house, you're going to be engaged in a fight. And you need an agent to negotiate for you. And you need an agent that knows who you are, knows your history, has done the pre-approval, package is ready, knows what you're looking for. So basically, it is very important that we believe we add value in a personal relationship with our clients. We add value in a personal relationship with our clients. You have developed a personal relationship with a friend, forget the relative, and most of you guys have done the same. You have developed a personal, we need to build that personal relationship. But what I'm worried about, and also Caroline is not here either, sometimes when we develop too much of a personal relationship, the train just goes on for finding a home. That key never comes. So at some point, you guys there need to put your foot down. You need to change the gear. You need to like start not pushing them, encouraging them that it's time to act. Okay? Last thing about getting the key is the obvious. If you don't have the lending squared away, if you don't have a pre-approval and proof of funds ready to go, if there's a gifter for your brother and the gifter file has to be ready, that's what I talked to your sister about. So all things are in place, that's when you go to war. So when countries go to war, they don't go to war when they have no weapons. They buy a lot of weapons, they get the people, train the people to use the weapon, then they go to war. When we go to war for negotiation, when you are going to get involved, everything has to be ready. because they don't know you. They don't care how you look. They don't care, what you wear, what you drive. What they care when you put an offer is how solid your supporting documents are, right? So two things. To get the key for a good house, there's usually going to be multiple offers, even two. So you need to have your client ready, and you need to have a relationship established with your client. And we could add one more. You need to encourage your client to take action. There's time to be lenient and there's time to put your foot down. I say, once it's to their benefit, not your benefit, I'll repeat again, once it's to their benefit, put your foot down, because it's just going to keep going and going and going and going. So my pitch, what I want you guys to take away, if you sit down to interview your boyfriend's friend, if you sit down to interview, Shireen's friend, if you sit down to interview anyone, keep in mind this sentence. Hey, I understand you could find homes without me. I know you talk to a lot of agents. I know nowadays maybe there are many agents, but I like to tell you this, that I will help you not just find a home, not just find a home, I will help you get the key for a nice home that fits your needs by getting to know you, helping you get pre-approved, making sure your funds is ready. I will get involved. I work with a broker that has a great team. We also do lending, or if you happen to not be in a broker that has lending, I know a lender, I will refer you to them, whatever it is, right? So those are the things you want to put in your mind as a weapon to pitch new clients. I will not just help you find a home. I will help you get the keys. Okay? So that's the buying part, which most of us will face. And I want to say again, even Zara can relate to this. Why do you, and I've touched on this a couple of times, why do you guys think most of us that starts a year ago or now or 3 years ago, why do you guys think we represent mostly buyers? Who remembers what I pointed out? Think a little bit. Why do we mostly represent buyers? Why don't we get people that say, hey, I want to sell my house? Why? I talked about this last time.
Like when they ask an agent to sell their house, they usually like look at like the other houses that were sold by another agent, that they're not own neighborhood. So
This is
that's
why.
us.
Let's think about this really quick. Ani's father has a house worth, let's say, 700,000, right? Ani's best friend is an agent. Ani goes tell the dad, Dad, you want to sell your house? Go to my friend. The dad says, talks to the mom. Your dad talks to your mom and says, well, wait a second. Down the street, there's a sign of an agent named Zare that just sold the house. And I saw Zares selling the other house 3 months ago. Well, no, this is not a game. I understand you're a friend, good for you, but you know what? Zara seems to be doing a lot of business in this neighborhood. We're going to go with Zara. So it's just what it is a lot of people that fall into agents that represent sellers typically have done a lot of years. They're well known in a community and they establish that. So they're like veteran agents, if you want to say. And so how it has happened for them is like this. Let's say one day, let's just say tomorrow, Ani gets her real estate license. Let's just say she has a big family and her dad in Glendale wants to sell, so she sells. Her uncle in Glendale 3 months later wants to sell and she sells. And let's say her best friend in Glendale wants to sell by coincidence and she sells. And let's say in the first year, she does 3 transactions in the neighborhood. And then what's going to happen is somebody in the neighbors are going to see her sign 3 times and they're going to call her. And then another one. And automatically she falls into that category. But typically it's more veteran agent that have been working that neighborhood for a long time or farming, etc., etc. So for most of us, we'll get buyers. People will come and say, hey, I want to buy a house. I heard you're an agent. Can you help me? Do you know a lender? That's why I sometimes emphasize on our buying conversation, because it's more relative to what we're going to do every day. Not that I'm downplaying the other one. It's just more relative. So that's that. Now, not to ignore the selling part. So the first part of our conversation. Today is going to be a very short kind of catch up, unless you guys have questions. First part was when you guys are going to approach, and I hope you guys are hitting your mechanic up or hitting someone up. When you guys are hitting it up, remember this. Tell them, listen, I know you could find a home on your own. I know you could do that, but I'll help you get the key. I'll help you prepare. I'll make sure you get a good deal. I make sure the closing costs are correct. I make sure I study everything, this, that. I'll help you with the inspection. So you basically going to add value by building a relationship, meeting their personal need, not general need, personal need. That's considered a relationship, right? So, for example, I know Ani and Joel want to get their license. So for me to help them, I have to help them study and train that way. I know Zara had his license for many years. So for me to help him would be different. So see, I cannot generalize the way I do this, right? I have to do it in context of what works best for each individual, right? Okay, so that's the keys. So basically, this was for our buyers, right? So keys or donuts. And I know you're gonna have a lot of fun with that, keys or donuts, right? Like on the making it on, how you put the things up on Instagram. That's what I mean. You'll make it really fun. Like put a picture of keys and donuts. You can delete that. Okay, so this is for the buyers. Okay. Now for the sellers, Joel or Louisa, why do I call donuts for the sellers? Any idea why? Come on, get creative.
It's like a gift.
No, I just said donuts,
Buy
but
them
what?
donuts so they can
No,
list the house.
no,
Does it have to do with do not?
no,
They're losing something.
no. Guys, when we represent seller, what is the first thing we do on the first weekend the house hits the market? What is the first thing we do?
Open house.
And what do we put in the open house? What do we put?
Oh.
Donuts. See,
Yeah,
I connected the dots, right? If like we had this California house for sale, that apartment, right? Immediately, Joel went to the donut shop, right? Pretend. So donuts. So donuts means when we get a listing for sale, when we have an open house, we have like donuts. Some of us have more like maybe nozzle or something else, but let's say donuts. So what I mean by donuts is like you are now trying to get a property for sale. And the reason I put donuts versus key, there's a reason, right? So any gesture counts. By me, so when I have an open house, let's say Zara wants to, he's not an agent, right? And let's say, excuse me, let's say Zara wants to sell his house and he's not an agent, okay? So what I'm gonna tell Zara in the same way that I'm gonna help you get the key to the buyer, right? What I'm gonna tell Zara, listen Zara, I'm gonna do full social media, nice picture, from the top, from the bottom. I have a great photographer. We're gonna do everything. When we have open house, we even will buy some donuts and we get some drinks. We have a nice barbecue, nice party. So basically, you wanna tell your seller that you go all out to bring in as many buyers as possible. I just called it donuts, but donuts could be shish kebab. Because sometimes when you sell a $3 million home, Jerry Arman used to do like barbecue back like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? So donuts means when you're representing the seller, you're not getting him the key. You kind of want to tell him that, hey, I will do good photography, good advertising, good open house by providing a nice, little invitation thing for the open house. So, and that's all you can do. The other thing, as far as the price point goes, as far as the comp goes, you always want to do that for the sellers if you're going to meet with them in their house because they might be interviewing a few people. What is important for a seller when you meet with them? They don't care about the donut and they don't care about necessarily the quality maybe of the picture. There is something above that that they care about, the sellers. Who can tell me what that is? What are they after? Getting the most price for their money. So they meet with different agents because they want to see which agent is going to say your house is worth 1 million and the other one says 970, the other one says 980. Money. They want to get the most money for their house. The problem is a lot of agents may like be too optimistic and give a number that's not realistic. So what I usually would recommend, or what I would say, it is really, really good to do an homework before you go, just like anything else, preparation, right? Do a comp. So I look up his address, I see the history, when he bought it, when he sold it. You're probably better than me in this area. Do all your comps, do all your homework. When you go sit down, ask the seller, what do you want? Whatever number he says, you can say, listen, I know, and let's say the number he says is 10%, 5% more. So in a million, that's 50,000, 100. Listen, I would love to get that for you. We may get it. Your location is good, maybe, but here are the comps. Here are the comps. And I always say give them two options. You could price the house under value, which is probably a right technique, especially in most markets, to get multiple offers. Or you could price the house over value,
Which hurts them.
think that, I just need one person to like it. Or maybe you could even price the house at value. But I've seen in my career that, and it hasn't been that long, but I've seen that most do price under value and most do get a lot more money. So that's kind of like the trend. Let's price it lower. Let's get into a multiple offer fight. So my my suggestion for this, if you're going to talk to a seller. So what am I talking about right now, Ani? If you got your license, your dad says, hey, my friend wants to sell his house, go talk to him. So when you go talk to your dad's friend, remember donut. And what does donut mean? You're going to do your comps. You're going to go prepare. You're going to tell him, nice picture. We do barbecue. We do donuts. I just put donuts just so you could have some fun with it on social media. But that's what it is, basically. On both ends, we want to add value. We want to be different than a Redfin agent, okay? And I'm going to say that because Redfin, if you want to sell with them, they charge 1%, right? Okay, I've bought many, many places from Redfin agents. No donut. I'll tell you that right now. There's no donut. No open house in most of them, right? Armin's house, no open house. No donut, no open house, but 1%. So you can say, hey, we bring value. You get more for your money. Why? Because you get more exposure. You get a personal attention. I will stand there, promote your house. I'll know the area. I work the area. I can give correct information. I can get more value. And I don't think when you're trying to sell your home, it's the best idea to try to negotiate to pay less commission because you end up making less money. If somebody's making a lot less commission, they're not going to put out a better advertisement. They're not going to put their time. So it's better to pay a lot, like pay the right commission so you get the right return. Just like anything else, we all have a price. We work because we need to support ourselves and our family, so we want to get paid. So, if you tell them, hey, listen, I know you could pay, because a lot of agents sometimes compete to get someone's listing and they offer less, you can tell them, I understand that. But here's the thing, we want to get you the most value for your property. So we need to do things the right way. And the right way is you pay your fee, we do our job, we get you the best bet. And a house, one last thing, and a house always gets the best bet when it has the most exposure, most open house, most viewing. Not when it's hidden behind the bush, just nobody can see it. That doesn't make sense.
So Redfin that charges 1%, that's only the seller part. How about the buyer?
So to be
How much
honest,
total they charge?
yeah. So to be honest, I don't know the exact, so I'm not going to answer exact, but from my guess, just a simple guess, what I've seen years ago, even before I became an agent, they were advertising like sell with us like 1%. And then they were advertising something like buy with us and like something like they'll pay some of your closing costs. Something like that. So they give some kickback basically in a closing cost way. Again, don't quote me on this because we're recording, but this is my guess. You could look it up. You could go to Redfin and it has it everywhere. It's like all over their website. I haven't looked it up lately. But the point is, you could sell your house with Redfin for a lot less than a personal agent.
No, I mean like they're not charging 1% and then give half to the selling agent and the other half to the buyer. It's not like
No, no, no.
that.
When they say 1%, what they're
It's
saying
just a
is,
seller.
exactly, what they're saying is seller has to pay two side commission. Seller has to pay the buyer who's bringing it, which is called,
2.5.
right. And then there's the listing agent. So the listing agent, instead of 2.5, they're saying pay us 1. We list it for you. But I believe, and I'm guessing again, so I believe Redfin doesn't go as much as like Jerry Arman does, let's say, or someone that's very well known in the listing industry. You know, they do more work, more exposure, more advertising, more time, more open houses. Donut, they do donut. Um, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about something that's practical to us, and I'm sure the new agents will get the question like, why are you becoming an agent? There's so many agents out there. You know, this is such a hard. I understand, but here's the thing. You are going to make a difference by adding more value to your plate. In our circle, how do we add more value? Lending. You learn lending. You learn to help buyers make wise decision. You bring them in for a free consultation. You spend time with them, you know, and that's your value. And you could take classes. I know Ani just took the negotiation class. You just add more knowledge. So when you sit in front of a buyer, not only you're thirsty and you're hungry, not only you're going to give them personal attention, you will be knowledgeable. And the most important thing for someone that wants to buy a house is their loan, their rates. That's the heart of the matter. Everything else surrounds that. Everything else. So that's why I emphasize on learning and educating yourself on loan coordination. That's what I think. Okay, so I am done for today.